Hey y'all, it's the Calm Corner Show. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Now let's get into it. Hey Soul Family, back again. I'm Erica, your favorite Astro homegirl. And this one, guys, I think we're going to start and let this be a part of our politics series. I'm not into politics, but it is. We are at the top of 2026. So let's get into what's really going on. And I'm actually in the middle of doing you guys, yearly readings, but we are on brink of war. Venezuela, the president, and looks like the first lady have been captured and taken in. And here we are, guys. A lot is going on. So we're going to talk about this situation with Venezuela. Are we headed to World War III? And we might as well make this and tie it on into Trump, your president, and what this energy around him and this year with him in 2026, okay? So we'll start with Trump first. So this is Trump. Of course, we're gonna, talk about, if possible, World War III and the energy around Venezuela. And then the next readings, I guess we can say we're gonna do J.D. Vance will be up next. We gotta do Miss Erica Kirk, honey. What a character, right? As well as with Candace Owens. So all of that will be ahead, but this right now, guess we might as well deal with who we're dealing with, okay? So again, welcome back for all of you guys that have been riding with me, and welcome to all of you guys that are new here. I always get into the astro weather first before I get down to business and get into the cards, okay? It helps me help you. And it also just works better for me when it's time, and helps me when it's time to get into the messages, okay? So, I've already done Trump, and ooh, if my nose is itching, messages, we know, always come in anytime that happens for me, okay? So, we have already done one. You can go back. It's been a while, but we're here now. So, we're going to do the reading and do his current transit since I've already done his chart, okay? So this year, Donald Trump is a Gemini sun. Everybody knows that. He's the president of the United States and all of the things, right? Jack of all trades. June 14th is the day he was born. And he is, and I always say that, a Leo rising, okay? So also, he has a moon in Sagittarius. So, let me look at the other chart too. I still needed to just pull him up, okay? I want to see real quick. Because if we're talking about 2026, I'm sorry, we should pull it up from the way that I can see it best. So, let's see. Yeah, Sagittarius moon. Gemini sun. His Saturn is in Cancer. Interesting. And this moon that just came in is Cancer. Chiron in Libra. Say it ain't so. And we sitting here going back and forth with these countries for no reason. Okay. His Mercury. Child. His Pluto is in Leo. Let's see what house that is. 12th house. House of hospital and jail. You better be paying attention to this man's chart, because I didn't just realize that his 12th house is in Leo. Pluto is ending. And it's in the 12th house, and we have that eclipse. Let's see what degrees this is. And all this is a legend, and in my opinion, but something just told me to dial it back and go see what's going on, okay? Since we're going to be doing them anyway, reading on him. It's at 10 degrees. So we need to see what degree that eclipse gonna come in on. Jupiter is in Libra, so through partnerships and other people, but also challenges there with that Saturn. If Mars is in Leo, that's interesting. And let's see what Sagittarius moon in the 4th house. And he is from overseas, for real, ain't he? I don't even think is he United States born? I'm not sure. But this explains it in just the 4th house. He's going rogue. So it's like Gemini with that Sagittarius moon, and this is the bullshit we on and we here now, right? Wow. Okay, so the sun is in Capricorn right now. You know, interestingly enough, the moon is in Leo. He's a Leo rising. So he's coming on a tyrant right now. You know, inserting himself in other people's countries and business and challenges in the atmosphere. Capricorn, Saturn energy, right? Causing challenges, unnecessary challenges for us that really the United States possibly can't even really afford, right? Bringing other countries against us by default because they gonna stick to their friends and their allies, right? So we on the brink of World War III because he bringing these challenges to the forefront. Mercury in Capricorn, he's communicating on the bullshit. Venus in Capricorn, no heart for the people. Mars in Capricorn, starting war. We on the brink of a war. Mars is war and bloodshed. Interesting. Jupiter is in Cancer, so expansion. This thing could just pop off. You know, Neptune in Pisces. Him looking through those rose-tinted glasses and not looking clear enough to say this might not be what you want when it comes to Russia and these other allies, these other countries joining together against you. I'm not into politics at all, but I'm just saying we just got to be real with each other and look what's happening in front of us and call a thing a thing. Uranus, you know, it's in Taurus. It's all about resources at the end of the day. They want them people oil, right? Allegedly. Chiron and Aries, boom. Coming up with this war, and it ain't a good idea, I don't think. And feeling that you on your bully, Capricorn sun energy with that moon and Leo energy. And you're going to fuck around and find out this ain't what you want. Chiron and Aries. So, we got to get into these cards and see what's going to happen and what's the energy ahead for us. Like, let's see. So, let's get into it and see what is going on in the world. Hey, so family, just a few clips of updates of what's going on in real time right now in the country. So, shout out to Rachel Scott, CNBC News, GB News, and Middle East Eye, and all the dope content creators. But this was just a quick ups, just, you know, for you guys that haven't got to see anything about Greenland and Venezuela. And then we get into the reading. So let's get into it. Make sure you sound off in the comments and let me know what you think, you know. Everybody feels different ways, you know, when it comes to politics. So let's get into it.
So together we had 12 months of unprecedented success in 2025, and now we're going to make history and break records with the epic midterm victory that we're going to pull off. It just doesn't seem to happen for people that win the presidency. It's an amazing phenomena. You know, you win the presidency, and we sure as hell are having a successful presidency, I will say that. So together we had 12 months of
is this. It's January 6th. What is this? Donald Trump engaged in a huge distraction today to try to distract us from what he did on January 6th. First, he starts to complain that he's going to be impeached during the midterms.
Because if we don't win the midterms, it's just going to be, I mean, they'll find a reason to impeach me. I'll get impeached. We don't impeach them. You know why? Because they're meaner than we are. We should have impeached Joe Biden for 100 different things. They are mean and smart. But fortunately for you, they have horrible policy. They can be smart as can be. But when they want open borders, when they want, as I said, men and women's sports, when they want transgender for everyone, bring your kids in, we're going to change the sex of your child. Just send them our way. In some cases, like in Minnesota, they don't even tell the parents. Is that right? And nobody believes it when I say it. I think we have 6 states.
Then he somehow starts to complain about Gavin Newsom needing to take a cognitive test. And he's bragging that he actually took one.
We should give everybody, like, these competency tests, right? The cognitive, they call it cognitive. You know, I'm the only president that went for cognitives. I think every president and vice president should be forced to take cognitive exams, mental tests, like, are they intelligent? Wouldn't it be nice? Do you think Waltz could pass a cognitive test, as an example? Do you think Kamala could? I don't think Gavin could. He's got a good line of crap, but other than that, he couldn't pass. I believe in it. I'm the only one that took a cognitive test.
Then he starts mocking transgender people.
Look at up. And you see, I want to be more, but I have somebody watching. I want to be more effusive. I want to really, But she gets it, and drops the thing, walks off the stage crying. Her mother's crying, her father's crying. Guy gets up. He said, "Have you lifted before?" A little bit. And he walks up. Bing. He could have gone ding, 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 ding.
And then he complains about how Melania hates to see him dance.
My wife, by the way, my wife hates when I do this. She said, you know, she's a very classy person, right? She said, "It's so unpresidential." I said, "But I did become president." You know, she hates when I dance. I said, "Everybody wants me to dance." "Darling, it's not presidential." She actually said, "Could you imagine FDR dancing?" She said that to me. And I said, there's a long history that perhaps she doesn't know. Because he was an elegant fellow, even as a Democrat, right? He was the attack by Japan, you know, he was quite elegant. But he wouldn't be doing this. But nor would too many others. But she says, "Darling, please, the weightlifting is terrible." And I have to say this, the dancing they really like. She said, "They don't like it, they're just being nice to you." I said, "That's not right. The place goes crazy."
And this is followed by him dancing. Ladies and gentlemen, it's real crystal clear that Donald Trump is unfit to be the president of the United States of America. He thinks committing crime is just one big joke. Not once is he actually taking accountability for what he did on January 6th and all the crimes that he's committed, all the felons that he pardoned after he recruited to have them come to the Capitol and try to unalive his own vice president. He actually thinks this is all just one big joke. And the sad part here is his supporters are probably still going to go out and vote for him come midterms. That's why we have to get out there, ladies and gentlemen, and make sure that we vote like our lives depend on it, so that even with the support of what's left of his base, he gets to face accountability. This man is truly a disgrace to this country, and I am embarrassed to be a citizen of the United States right now. It's January 6th.
Well, I just spoke to a White House official, and tonight the White House is not ruling out using military force to take Greenland. We know this has been a priority for President Trump. In a statement, the White House says the president and his advisors are discussing a range of options, and that utilizing the military is always an option in the commander-in-chief's disposal. Well, I just spoke to
So President Trump says the US needs Greenland right now. And no doubt this is the map President Trump would like to see come about. Greenland has a population of 56,000, but it's the 12th largest territory in the world by land mass, although flat maps of the globe do make it look even bigger. Now, he says he needs Greenland for national security reasons. And since the 1950s, the US has had a military base on Greenland, strategically important, of course, because of its location between the US and its old foe, Russia. Crucially, it's also home to some of the world's largest reserves of rare earth minerals outside of China, vital for the tech, EV, and defense industries where the US wants global dominance. 300 years ago, the Danes fancied Greenland's natural resources too and went looking for useful minerals as well, making it a Danish colony in 1721. So Greenland has been Danish longer than the United States has even existed. But the relationship has evolved. Greenland voted for self-government in 2008, although with foreign policy and defense still controlled by Denmark. So it is Danish sovereign territory. What about NATO then? Denmark is in NATO, so is the US. And Article 5 of NATO means an attack on one is supposed to be treated as an attack on all. But when the aggressor is the dominant member of NATO itself, well, the Danish Prime Minister makes the point that NATO would probably fall apart. And has anyone actually asked the people of Greenland what they want? 93% of Greenlanders voted for independence parties in March elections, the winning party favouring a more gradual than rapid journey to independence from Denmark. So they want to control themselves when the time is right. As for the US, one poll in January showed 85% of Greenlanders reject becoming part of the United States. Well, reports today suggest Mr. Trump is planning to go over Denmark and the EU's head, offer Greenlanders continued self-government, but with the US in charge of defense, and also promises of economic enrichment. But his advisors have also not ruled out military intervention, meaning the fate of Greenland could yet decide the future of NATO, as well as the West as we know it. So President Trump says the US
The White House is explicitly putting the threat of military action against a NATO ally on the table in the case of Greenland. This is a new statement from Caroline Leavitt just into CNBC moments ago. She says President Trump has made it well known that acquiring Greenland is a national security priority of the United States, and it's vital to deter our adversaries in the Arctic region. The president and his team are discussing a range of options to pursue this important foreign policy goal. And of course, utilizing the U.S. military is always an option at the commander-in-chief's disposal. Now, this statement from Caroline Leavitt following on some reporting from Reuters news service just within the past half hour or so. Reuters reporting earlier that the president and his team are discussing a range of options for acquiring Greenland, and that utilizing the military is an option. Leavitt's statement now putting that on the record. The president and his advisors, according to Reuters, are discussing options including purchasing the territory from Denmark or forming a compact of free association with the island. Those steps obviously below the threshold of military activity. The president would like to acquire Greenland during his current term in office. A senior official tells Reuters, and the president has made clear that acquiring Greenland is a national security priority that a senior U.S. official says is not going away anytime soon. Now, we saw the Prime Minister of Denmark, which controls Greenland, putting out a statement over the past 24 hours, Morgan, saying that any military action against Greenland by the United States would mean the end of NATO. NATO, of course, the military alliance of Western countries that has enforced the peace throughout the Cold War and the post-World War II period. That is something we just haven't seen before, Morgan. This is sort of uncharted territory here, at least rhetorically, for one NATO member to be threatening military action, or at least placing the prospect of military action against another on the table in an on-the-record explicit mode, as the White House has just done now. Clearly, the acquisition of Greenland is a key priority for President Trump. The White House
tonight, and so many people tonight are asking one question: who exactly is in charge of Venezuela? Well, if you ask President Trump, he says that he is in charge. He says the U.S. is now going to be running Venezuela. The timing of that is certainly very interesting because earlier today, just hours ago, we saw Venezuela swear in their new interim president. Her name is Delcy Rodriguez. She was actually Nicolas Maduro's vice president. So I asked one of the president's closest advisors, Stephen Miller, how exactly that is working.
And you just reiterated, as the president did, that the United States is now in charge of Venezuela, is running Venezuela. We know that just hours ago, a new leader was sworn in temporarily. So how exactly is this working? Is she consulting with the president? Well,
I don't want to get, it's a good question. I don't want to get too much into details on that. But look, we have an oil embargo in Venezuela. For them to do any kind of commerce, they need our permission. We have our massive fleet, our Armada, still present there. This is an active and ongoing U.S. government military operation. And so, of course, we set the terms and conditions.
So we're just
Everyone's asking the same question. Why did Trump go into Venezuela? Several reasons have been thrown about.
Drug traffickers.
We view the Maduro regime as illegitimate.
They've been poisoning the American people.
He's making cocaine, they're sending it into the United States, so he does have to watch his ass.
But what does Trump actually want? And what happens next? Firstly though, a bit of background. Donald Trump wanted Venezuelan leader Maduro gone during his first term, but he couldn't get it done. And by the time he returned to office for a second term, he was selling himself as
the candidate of peace. I am peace. We will have peace. I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars. No more wars. Under Trump, we will have no more wars.
He told his allies he slept like a baby for staying out of foreign wars. Yet this week, that line quietly expired. Now, it is true that Maduro, a corrupt authoritarian, presided over the collapse of what was once one of Latin America's richest economies. Over 7 million Venezuelans, more than the population of Norway, fled under his rule due to the dire economic conditions. But many have raised questions about the legality of the US operation, which brings us back to why. Trump framed the US attack on Venezuela as an update to the Monroe Doctrine, a policy first laid down in 1823 to consolidate Washington's sphere of influence over the Americas. The point is simple. The US intends to control what happens in what it believes to be its backyard.
American dominance in the Western Hemisphere will never be questioned again.
And it's not just Venezuela. Colombia, on notice. Cuba, on notice. Greenland, Trump has hinted the semi-autonomous Danish island could be next, calling for annexation due to its strategic location and mineral wealth.
We need Greenland.
Secondly, yes, Venezuela does have the largest oil reserves on Earth. But Venezuela's oil is heavy crude, expensive, and slow to extract. Rebuilding could take years and cost over $100 billion. Oil prices are also falling. Short-term US profits, unlikely. So if this isn't just about money, what is it really about? Venezuela has become an ally to US rivals. China, Russia, Iran, to name a few. The US attack on Venezuela and its push to monopolize its oil reserves means China's billions in investment and strategic influence are now at risk. But for Venezuela, what's next? Regime change has been the talk of the last few days. Trump says he will run the country.
We are going to run the country.
But here's the catch. The US military left no troops on the ground. Bombs hit airstrips, barracks, ports, but currently no one is there to enforce anything. Right now, we're not looking at classic regime change. Trump has decided to put Maduro's second in command, Delcy Rodriguez, in charge. At first glance, it took many by surprise. Rodriguez has publicly condemned the US raid, calling Maduro the only legitimate president of Venezuela. But in reality, it may not be such a shock. On social media, analysts have pointed out the problem wasn't the Venezuelan government, it was Maduro specifically. The rest of his cabinet is competent, and Rodriguez has experience. Part educated in France, helped steer economic reforms, even informal dollarization, and negotiators in Washington have been talking to her for months. So Trump's strategy? Keep her under pressure, open up the oil industry to US companies, and distance Venezuela from China and other rivals. Full regime change, too risky. Leverage and control, much safer. But it's all far from guaranteed. Will the army back Rodriguez? Will internal elites cooperate? A splintered military could spiral into chaos, and allies aren't much help. Maduro had few friends in the region. China's influence is being tested. For Venezuelans, the future is uncertain, caught between decades of misrule and US strategy focused on quick wins, oil and leverage. Because removing the strong man was the dramatic part. The hard part, what comes after when the real test of power begins. Everyone's asking.
I want to go now to Sam Brock, who was inside that courtroom for those historic moments as Nicolas Maduro and his wife were arraigned on American soil. Sam, tell us what it was like inside that room.
Hallie, one of the most remarkable arraignments you could ever imagine, right? You've covered court cases throughout the course of your career. You're hard-pressed to remember anything like this. So Nicolas Maduro walks into the courtroom with his wife, Celia Flores, right around noon. And immediately, so first of all, he is wearing orange garb from the MDC, the Metropolitan Detention Center, a black shirt over that. Hard to tell, Hallie, whether or not he was handcuffed or not when he first walked in, but he is right away shaking hands with all of his attorneys. He nods at the people in the gallery, both on the side where the public was seated as well as the journalists. It almost looked like at one point he cracked a smile, was greeting his attorneys, getting situated. His wife came in as well, Celia Flores, I might add. It was hard to tell at first, but then this was brought up by their attorneys, had bandages on her face and had bruising around her eyes. They discussed the fact that she was injured during detention and even mentioned possible fractures to her back or other parts of her body when the question around medical attention came up. So we'll get back to that in a second. But when I say remarkable, so they come in, Maduro has 4 U.S. Marshals behind him. They sit directly behind Maduro. While he is seated then and facing the judge, Judge Hellerstein addresses the court. He proceeds to read the charges, certainly the narco-terrorism, the cocaine importation conspiracy, the weapons-related charges, gets through all of that, and then says to Nicolas Maduro, "Are you Nicolas Maduro?" And he says, Hallie, first, "I am Nicolas Maduro of Venezuela. I am president of the Republic of Venezuela. I have been kidnapped since January 3rd. I was captured at my home in Caracas, Venezuela," which at that point, Hallie, the judge steps in and says, "Wait a minute. We're going to get to all of that. I just want to know if you're Nicolas Maduro."
Interesting.
And he says, "Yes, I am." And in fact, he's wearing headphones the entire time, right? Because he's hearing the interpretation, the translation. He actually interrupts the translator as she's trying to articulate to the judge and to the court what Maduro is saying. He's so eager to sort of state his case. So again, this was very anomalous in terms of what happens in what are normally perfunctory arraignments and hearings. So they go through that. The judge reads through the charges, okay? Then he asks him whether or not he's seen the indictment. And Maduro and his attorney, Barry Pollock, who, by the way, represented Julian Assange, well known in the field of criminal defense. He's also known for negotiating a plea agreement to get Assange out of jail, also represented one of the Enron executives who was fully acquitted on criminal fraud charges. He's representing Maduro in this case, and he said, "I have briefed my client, but he hasn't actually read the indictment." And so then the judge says, do you want the court to read the indictment? Maduro says, "No, I don't," but he does want to have consultation on it. The entire time this is...
All right, so family, so this is the cards on the president, child, Donald Trump. So I already blessed the cards and all of that. So I'm going to go ahead and I guess we can get right on in and pull his current energy right now. Let's get into that, honey. Because he has been running amok, hasn't he? So let's start with the current energy of your president. Thank you, Sid. Oh, wow, sideways, okay. All right. Thank you, Spirit. We got... Oh, wow. That one hit first in here, right? Thank you, Spirit. Oh, wow. Even the focal point card, right? All right, so this is his current energy. Oh, I forgot. Let me do that. My bad. It's not quite the focal point, but this is, and quite the contrary. This is hilarious. But let's see. We're gonna unpack. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. All right. Just remember, I always take a little pause, you know, just so I can unpack and hear the messages of the cards, because it's a lot of different messages in here. I'm gonna see where to start, right? Current energy. True essence, truly him. You can't make the messages up. It's almost hilarious. The cards have a sense of humor. Page of Swords in reverse. News. Everybody, this is affecting. He is the bullshit. Allegedly. Let me tell you something. Page of Swords in reverse already can really be a mess in a sense. But reverse, this is about manipulation, deception tactics, right? Hasty decisions. Actions and not thinking them out. Very abrasive with the words. But let me say this. Even though this is the energy of him right now, you know, almost in the energy of a tyrant, right? And taunting it on, you know, the energy of that's deep. But it's things hidden here, guys. It's deception in the cards. It's in the messages, right? Him not being truthful about a lot of different things that got to do with in his life, right? It's a bigger meaning behind considering going to World War III. This is also news, negative news around the world globally. Wow, are we headed here? Is this where we going? This is the message, right? Hilarious. 9 of Pentacles. All this self-centered actions. No regard for the people. None whatsoever. 9 of Pentacles is a self card. And it's sideways. It's about enjoying the fruits of your labor. It's about rewards. When it's in a negative energy, it's so many people that are not happy with him right now, right? The Pentacles, the money, right? Not being truthful to the people. Not putting the people in situations that earth energy, right? Finances. Being unfair and deceptive about the insurance rates and things that come with resources like the food, taking away the food stamps from the people, right? Two of Swords. Everything is hidden. I'm going to say something too, right? And I'm just taking a pause because I'm looking at him making these difficult decisions, but in a hasty manner. You see that blindfold on that card? It's a lot that we can't see here, United States of America, right? It's a lot hidden behind what you think you're seeing. This is him making these hasty decisions, like I said. And sorry for the pause, guys. It's a lot in the messages, right? Making this hasty, and look, sizing people up. 1 foot in, 1 foot out, right? You sizing up these other countries, but you can't see what's really going on. This ain't a good decision to go to war. It's in the messages. It's on the table. But I'm not into politics. But the allies that they do have, he's underestimating what power these other countries have, considering that we're supposed to be the most powerful in period, right? Being in this energy right now, you know, for Trump is about resistance to change. And we in Capricorn season, Saturn energy, right? Change is upon us. It's an eclipse ahead. And it's interesting because this Three of Cups is sitting right here, and it's not about celebrations though. I don't know if it's 3 countries or the country got 3 allies or what, but that's the energy of them joining together, right? It's almost like it's something too in the energy of his health, right? What you doing, boy? I'm sorry, my doodle right there. Resistance to change, not willing to bend, making these decisions based on money, finances, resources. It's all in the cards. You know, the misuse of power is going to bring some hidden things that's going to be unwanted, right? Allegedly, allegedly. This is a year of new beginnings. And again, like I was saying, with that eclipse ahead, I haven't looked at his current transits, but what I will say is this is about personal transition as well, right? Between now and the next 6 months, allegedly. Eclipses are about endings and new beginnings to come, right? Coming here, you got the Queen of Cups energy, right? No compassion for the mothers. The children, the programs that are needed. And interestingly enough, in this period and in this time, in some sick, warped way, it's the energy of being, you know, kind of fulfilled in a sense with the Queen of Cups energy, right? So he could be pushed to go to, of course, dealing with countries, you know, dignitaries, quite a few events, right? The reason why I get sticky, guys, is because you got temperance here, and that's the ancestor card, right? Causing grief upon, you know, the people. It's in the messages. Ancestor, temperance, everything is off balance. You know, I'm going to say something about Trump and his health again. Like I said, the eclipse is coming. This is the energy of, you know, him having some serious health issues. Allegedly. And again, it's hidden where you can't see it, right? But something about him, it's like he's going to be removed at some point, right? And this is, I'm just looking in the current energy. And with all of this going on, it's interestingly enough in the messages that it's like you kind of will see him in the forefront, but in a minute you not. You see the Hermit? Something in his health and his energy is going to, you know, put him in a place where he's going to have to be less in front of in the press conferences and all of those things that he does, right? Something about his health, guys. I'm telling you, this is the Hermit. This is that Virgo energy. Something about, you know, the health and the day-to-day, the routines, right? We ain't even got into the future ahead. I think that's why I'm just sitting here like, you know, what's ahead? This is the current state and energy right now. Something about him is headed to isolation. But this is also an energy of wanting to isolate whatever this situation is of countries that have certain resources, right? So you can take over that land. His ancestors over there on that land, Trump. I'm telling you, it's right up under this right here. Remember I said he not seeing it for what it is. It's in the messages. Knight of Cups. You know, bringing disappointment to the people. You know, coming up with all these different ideas and disrespectful in how you treat people and in general. A complete fool. Look at that. reckless, making reckless decisions for the world. I'm telling you, in his mental energy, allegedly, something is declining, y'all. The Hermit is right here. Taking the wrong risk. Because you feel like it. Just the drive of power, you know? Look at that. A fall is ahead on some level. This is that man that you captured, him and his wife. This could be very much so the people that he came and, you know, had captured. Like I said, I don't know all the ins and outs of politics because this is just a, you know, a general reading. But look at relationships. This is that couple. They're married. The president and his wife. Because you are a tyrant. The emperor is here. This is the current situation. And this is what is causing this Page of Swords right here. Everybody in a tizzy, the world. Like, are we headed at the top of the year, January? We ain't even in the 2026. And World War III is possibly on the table. Allegedly. Due to your partnerships, the way you deal with people, your relationships. This year, Libra, that house is, partnerships are challenged. It's in the messages. He don't care. He foolish with it. Foolish and crazy. Allegedly. Creating blockages and isolation for the people. There's no middle class anymore. Look at that. The way the card goes sideways. It's the have or the have-nots, right? It's in the messages. Taking over, strong arming too. Allegedly, right? Taking over. Relationships. Severing ties with us and other countries. Severing relationships. Wow. Let's pull what's ahead. Like what, I mean, because we got plenty messages just now, just in the current energy of him, right? So let's talk about what's ahead 2026 for him. What's ahead? What is this 2026 for him? Interesting. Y'all, no compassion. Donald Trump. Taking those people out of personal transition, out of their land, their home. Taking over people's home. clump, right? Wow. The messages be messaging. So let's unpack. So here, 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 and here. All right, let's do this whole family. It's crazy. Now we going forward. We got 2 pivotal eclipses this year. This one could be a beginning, but something in his health, and not being truthful about that as well. Allegedly. So let's unpack. It's gonna tickle y'all with the focal point. And again, like I said, you know, partnerships being challenged on all levels, you know, personal, business, nations, all of that, right? Relationships. This year ahead is conflict, okay? Again, that Emperor energy, you know, closing out his current energy, you know, with the messages we started with, that are leading to this. Personality clashes. Remember I said it was in his messages, the disrespect on how he talks to people, how he treats people. This is about arguing. This is about, you know, creating opposition. This is him and his temper, right? This is him, you know, defeating the competition amongst his standards, how he sees it, through his lens, through his eyes, right? This is the energy of loss in some way, form, or fashion. Lost opportunities. Chaos, period. First card. Empress right here. Feminine power. Pushing more narratives to take away from mothers and babies this year, possibly. Situations coming up short. Lost in those areas. Conflicts in his health. Energy of neglecting his health. Remember, this is coming in, current, past, right now, leading up, chaos, conflict, stress. It's a lot of feminine energy on the table, right? Oh my God, I hurt him. I'm sorry, y'all. I wanted to make sure I didn't drop anything. No, I didn't. Let me double check. Okay, because we didn't put the box behind me on the floor too. I think y'all can see it. That puppy, I'll get it. It's interesting, guys. It's when I say that the cards tell the story, I can't make it up. Remember I said Queen of Wands, right? But this is the energy of my way or the highway. He got his mind made up. If y'all want to, know how does he feel about going to war, he ready. He ready. He don't realize that he putting too many irons in the fire. Making these hasty decisions. The message is clear and clear. And back at the Two of Swords, right? This is the warning. before the storm, right? Not paying attention to the red flags. Remember I said, this message is through and through. This is not a good idea. It's some things that they have, hidden intelligence, situations that he knows nothing about. And he is not prepared. This card says a clear warning. But remember, in his energy is my way or the highway, right? He's going to continue to come down to the internet, to the world, to social media, and, you know, finesse. Allegedly, right? Come with, in his mind, whatever charming would be to, look, cloud your judgment. You see the Two of Swords is a card with a blindfold on. Let me come with this offer. So then y'all will forget about the red flags and what's really going on. So it could be some, you know, type of, I don't know, stimulus money, something that he may attempt this year to give out, you know, or to do something to, you know, get you guys distracted on what's really going on. These Two of Swords, right? This is proposals, right? Offers. Ahead with these other countries and other places. I'm telling you, we in the first month, but these timing cards, right? Watch out for news around him within the next 2 weeks, right? This is about, a waxing moon is about making progress. And this is about gaining strength, gaining momentum, right? This is the energy of him making a decision, a hasty decision, to possibly move forward with possible WW3. Allegedly is in the messages. This is about gaining strength. This is about the final steps to get to that point, right? King of Swords in reverse, that's him. It's him. He on the table. Gemini sun. Authoritarian. Cold, sarcastic, controlling, unbending, lack of integrity. Can I add? Can I say something? Drunk on power. A loose cannon. Your president, Mr. Trump, the energy within the next 2 weeks. He don't care. He ready to go. Send the messages. Ten of Cups. Families this year. Families, emotions. Ten of Cups, relationships. Peace. Ten of Cups, harmony. Ten of Cups, divine love. Seven of Swords. I can't make the messages up. Deception. Not what it seems. Betrayal, sneakiness, the way he did those people, capturing those, you know, that husband and that wife of, I think it's Venezuela, right? sneaky, strategic ways of doing things. I'm telling you, we don't see it all. And remember I said, the message said when it started, nothing is what it seems. Nothing. Two of Wands in reverse. Deceptive and underhanded ways got you right here where you're gonna have to you're gonna have to reassess, because you're not gonna be ready for what they got. I'm telling you, red flag. The warning is here. Look, a clear warning. Can't make it up. I know it's kind of creepy, right? But the reason why I kind of glazed over the Ten of Cups is because I go around the energy that's around it, right? And this is about happiness. This is about fulfillment. This is about peace. This is about, like I said, being fulfilled, stability, divine love. With these messages, right? Never talk about nobody, ascending to heaven here. But this is the energy of that. Allegedly, okay? You got the High Priestess here again. I'm going to tell you something too, y'all. And I'm sorry for the pause, but I'm always got messages coming in. His mind, y'all, I'm telling you, not these sound decisions and the way that he's moving in these cards. Allegedly, it's energy around, the mindset. Him have, maybe possibly allegedly struggling with some issues around that. It's deep hidden secrets in here, right? But this is about higher self. Ascension. I'm telling you, allegedly. The Knight of Swords is here again. In reverse, this is still reckless energy. Reckless energy. And I'm going to say something. I guess we know with all situations, but even right now, it's a situation about mothers, children, women, the divine feminine. Something around the energy of women, mothers, children this year 2026. Pay attention to that, guys. Something is in the energy of being taken away or something. This energy is of out of control, a bully. Like I said, his energy is impulsive. He is sarcastic and can be very rude and hurtful. Very deceitful. Starting with conflict, ending with conflict. Now look at that. So you coming in with the Five of Wands because you're ready to go to war, allegedly. And now we back at the 5 because you're not playing by the rules. Sacrificing gonna be made this year. More conflict, more hostility. But I'm going to tell you something. This Five of Swords, the way it's positioned, soul family, it represents defeat. Defeat on some level. Because of this Ace of Swords. Misinformation, blocked communication, clouded judgment, hostility, misinformation, guys. Needing to reevaluate. Not gonna be prepared. because you're not heeding the warning. Conflict is ahead. Conflicts and fights. And not doing right by the people. J.D. Vance is a prince in waiting. They're both Leo risings. Again, watch out for that eclipse is coming up ahead towards the summer. That one will be in Leo, one of them. In Leo, both our presidents, vice president and president, both are Leo rising. Aquarius eclipse coming ahead. Again, this is about the group. This is about partnerships. Did you see that 3 of Cups? That's going to be about endings in those areas. As we look like it's a possible on the brink of we could go to war, right? Let's ask. We see how he feels. We see how he's handling things. We see what the, what the year ahead is like for him and the energy around him making decisions for the United States of America, allegedly, right? And in my opinion, that's the energy around it. Let's ask, will he, let's ask how would this turn out with him and this Venezuelan president. Let's ask that, the energy around that. Taking away more benefits look like they have to do with mothers, babies, children. Let's get the current energy around him and this Venezuelan president. He said he's captured now, right? Ooh, messages automatically. Jeez. Ain't that interesting? Keep coming out as this tyrant, this emperor, right? Tricks. Look, the magician, Gemini message. Coming in. You manifested this. He calling upon this war. And the discord with this actual country, Venezuela. It's his way or the highway. It's up and stuck. It's in the messages. I can't make it up. Victory here. 10 of Cups came right back. I'm telling you that Empress is back. And the 7 of Coins is in reverse. He taking advantage. It's in the messages. This is the wife that he also brought in, right? Emperor could be one or two things that's, of course, them both being taken in. He want to take over their resources. 7 of Coins. He done made up in his mind, y'all, that he want to take their resources. Didn't I just say, what's the magician? Resources. 4 corners of the world, right? Water, air, fire, right? All the 4 elements. pulling it in, north, south, east, and west. He wanted trickster though, coming in, swiping, 7 of swords in that messages, swiping or swiping like the fox on Dora. Step in deceitfully and take over these people's country. And it say resourceful creator. 7 of coins in reverse. Due to their lack of resources, they lose. And we go over there and strong arm and gain 10 of cups. And all this energy is building momentum. Again, the messages are here within the next 1 or 2 weeks. Or soon. The energy around this is building up and gaining strength. And he is not willing to, talk to people. He's not willing to bend. Unreasonable on every level. Disrespectful. No respect amongst men. Period. That's the energy of the cards, right? Wow. I guess that's safe to say that that's what it is. Let's pull some messy tea messages for him. I'm gonna ask too, because we got so many health cards in there. Let's see what his 3-card pull on. Let's just kind of back that up, because that was definitely a question. I mean not a question, but messages that kept coming up, right? Something about allegedly too, cerebrally, things aren't all together there. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, we're going to go on and go to the messy cards, because we done got us a handful, okay? He is a Leo rising. Focal point of the card. Strength is here. But remember, you got to give me a second to unpack. I did a 3-card pull. The messages come out this way for me. And I'm going to just say this, right? First card out the deck. Middle, current, past. This year ahead. What's ahead for him health-wise and for him in general in his life? What's ahead for him personally? The death card is here. External change. Abrupt change. A total overhaul ahead. A new start. We're starting back at 1. This is the new cycle, 1 of 9. This is endings and new beginnings coming. Wow. This is the ending. Look at that. The star. It's the ending of star, the person. The star in an upright, guys, is about healing. Health, I'm telling you. It's a part of decline. And all of this is alleged and in my opinion. But you will hear messages. Page of Swords energy. This will be communicated all over the world for everybody to see. Interesting. 3 of Cups is not cool, but I will say this. This is an energy being brought upon. Three of Cups, right? This is about the people. Some people will rejoice. Some people will, you know, stand in his honor, go against the grain. Relationships all upside down. And it's interesting because you got 2 pages here, right? News of intelligence. News of the conflicts. Page of Wands is about action. But it's still in reverse about new path, new beginnings. Knight of Coins in reverse. Interesting. Page of Wands. News. Reckless energy puts the energy of this year in the world 2026 unstable. Hoarding over the resources, trying to take over the resources. Some of this energy is the energy of holding us back in certain ways. But it's personal gain here as well, guys. But it's interesting, right, when you see the Strength card. Because new is upon us, right? New cycle, we can see it here. It's interesting. Celebrations, you can take it as you may. I don't want to go a step further because, you know, we are on YouTube, respectfully. But strength is that Leo rising energy. And isn't J.D. Vance a prince in waiting? Strength is here to move forward and shift to the new. Got heavy task. But he is a prince in waiting. Page of Wands. News of what? A page. Vice president. In a lot of ways, him coming in, I don't necessarily know if it'll be that much better. Allegedly. Because even him shifting into the new, it's still some things about the old that's going to bring conflicts. Remember, this Three of Cups is about people going against the grain, people rebelling, right? Wow, that's crazy. I'm going to scoot these on up because that's a lot, right? Especially to see that in the messages. So let's just do the, let's pull some messy cards and get on up out of here. Let's pull some T cards for Donald Trump. 2026, this year ahead. Wow, what a reading, soul family. Secure your home, soul family, in all ways. You know, insurance, you know, just securing and stable foundation, land for you guys, you know, coming in, emotional mother energy, you know, a lot of feminine energy on the table. Take care of home. Moon is the mother. Okay. lot that needed to come out, huh? Okay, I didn't even start with my teacups, right? That last mess of cards had shook me for a second. I couldn't even believe those messages came out. And remember, I'm going to keep saying it, y'all. Remember, everything is alleged and in my opinion. That's deep. I'm going to have to go smoke after this. Oh, wow. Sorry about the water, y'all. I remember I'm in the basement. Remember Andre said, don't never decide. Beautiful things happen in small rooms. Any extra messages? Damn, lots of them. Okay. And you know what I was going to add to, guys, that I didn't say, that I also saw clearly in the messages? What I was going to say, I'm sorry, I was shuffling for him. What I was going to say was energy, too, around his current wife, Melania Trump, because she is the mother of the kids, but looks like they coming up with plans too and strategies in place in regards to him. That was in the messages. I was so taken aback for what I was seeing that it just kind of taken me aback for a minute. But remember I said there was a lot of messages in those cards, right? Okay. Let's get into it. So these are the messy cards, and you know, they don't necessarily be in any particular order. But let's get into the messages. So you know I like to start with my cup of tea first, and a whole bunch of them came out. So this will be, you know, could be him and just the world in general. So we're going to take what we made from it, okay? Remember I said it's deception in the messages, mind games, manipulation, gaslighting, scare tactics. Bullying that other country and all them other places, allegedly. Backtracking, regression, revisiting the past, going back on something. Remember I said, you know, this is the energy of on a lot of levels. You know, saying he gonna do something and don't do it, not standing on your word. You know, the people, the country, the women, it's a thing, really emotional. You know, breaking foundations and homes and families. You know, breaking them up. Making it hard for people to survive, right? Shook, plot twist, unexpected events, sudden change. I'm telling you, the Tower messages are here, along with the end of the cycle. And I'm going to say something too in those cards. He is putting all these different things in place that y'all don't see and can't see that's ahead, right? Because it was in the messages. And it's going to be unexpected change. Hidden intelligence, I'm telling you. Yearning, missing someone, reminiscing. No. Roller coaster, full of highs and lows, off and on, hot and cold. You know, he takes us on an emotional roller coaster. Today we could be at war, tomorrow we don't know. He just got us all on the edge, right? But this is his energy too in communication. And why we in a roller coaster energy right now? High roll, unbothered, brushing it off, moving past it. This is the energy that he would like to take. He does move past it. It ain't necessarily the high road, though. Allegedly. Knocked up, pregnancy, baby on the way, expecting. Maybe he can have some grandchildren that'll be born this year, you know. family expansion, right? Thirsty. Seeking attention, needing validation, desperate and pushy. I'm going to keep reading. Need I say more? Heart fog, mixed emotions, unclear feelings, wishy-washy. Hasty decisions might we be making. Allegedly, allegedly. Graduation day, leveling up, lessons learned, acquired wisdom. I'm telling you, the energy that I'm getting around this leveling up is not graduation. It's like graduating and ascending. If y'all understand where I'm going with that. Allegedly, allegedly, okay? This is the conflict, the fight with other countries, these partnerships, these dignitaries, throwing hands, disagreements, hostility and animosity, conflict and fighting. Didn't I say that it go ahead 2026? It comes in with conflict and end. Coming towards the end of it, it's the same temperature. Morning after, up all night, late night rendezvous, spending the night. This could just be an energy of him up in these late hours. Not today, left on red, not in the mood, avoidance. Somebody could be avoiding him. A lot of people could be avoiding him, allegedly, allegedly. Cloud 9, emotional fulfillment, expectations met, ecstatic. Remember I said, 10 of Cups kept coming up. Completion, though. You get it? Emotional fulfillment could be crossing over. Allegedly, allegedly. Wow. You reached that pinnacle, right? Let's read the messages. Decisions to be made. We know that. Disharmony, triggers, and conflict amongst the people, in the world, with other countries, with his own country, with his staff, with his, all of these things. Disharmony, triggers, and conflict. Present, abundant, gratitude. I'm telling you, something that got to do with resources. Remember, awakening. These some cards. I'm telling you guys, you going with the theme of this. This is interesting. Messages, dreams. Messages and dreams could be coming to him as he, heads into an awakening, a new chapter. Stability, harmony, and flow. To me, that's a part of ascension. Confusion, Neptune, illusions. Remember I said something isn't what it seems. And it's a lot being, kept in the background, even allegedly health-wise as well. Ace, new beginnings in Earth, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. This is about resources. I can't make it up. Ace, Earth. Resources, the 5 senses. Health. New beginnings. Poker face. Hiding true feelings, impossible to read, emotionally detached. You'll never know. I know y'all can relate to that. We just don't know. Remember, we like a sitting duck. What's going to happen next? We just don't know yet. I mean, I could say with retirement goals, long-term stability, future planning, relaxation earn, and living the dream. I mean, I would think he done, got enough money by now, allegedly, right? Life lessons learned, wisdom gained, completing cycles. So, family, I know y'all, we closing out, but I know y'all listening. Completing cycles, growth through experience. I'm wiser now. Everything is about life lessons, remembering, going back, right? Closing out chapters, endings. Red flags. The messages came up. Can't make it up. The warning signs are here. Ignored intuition. Potential trouble. You knew better. Ain't that something? Clout chaser. It's safe to say that our president is just that. Does anything for attention, fame, hungry, desperate for followers, anything for a like, okay? Something about the energy of him is being photoshopped, allegedly. Fake perfection, artificial beauty, unrealistic standards, filtered beyond recognition. Pay attention. Nothing ain't what it seems. Friend zone, platonic trap, unreciprocated feelings, stuck as friends, like a sibling to me. He could have other things going on, you know. Allegedly. Hopeless romantic, believing in fairy tales, idealizing love, constantly waiting and forever dreaming. Have somebody around him with that energy, allegedly. And this, my good soul family, is on Mr. Donald J. Trump for what's currently going on right now and possibly what's ahead, all alleged in my opinion, for this year of 2026, okay? So I love you guys. You know, make sure you sound off in the comments. Let me know what y'all think. Again, I ain't into politics. I don't pick. So, you know, hey, I'm just here to report the messages. So peace and love, guys. And I will see you guys soon in the next one. I can't remember who I got up next. I just got to go to my pad. But again, I'm going to start putting out your 2026 yearly readings as well. I'm probably going to pop out maybe 1 or 2 more of these celebrity reads for you guys as I, you know, put the work in to go ahead and start posting your 2026 messages, okay? So let's be positive as we move ahead. But this is the energy of Mr. Trump. And I'll see you guys soon in the next one. So, family, peace and love. Thanks for watching The Common Corner Show. Peace and love, Soul Family. And I'll see you guys in the next one.